In today's news, new Ministry of Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change established. Deputy Premier Smith promises to address labor issues, plans already in place. An article accuses BVI locals of crimes against tourists. And we also see Smith saying there is no apologies for her political moves. But these and more stories when 284 News return.
Yo, everything good there?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What's your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turned into 5. 5 months turned into, well, you know I hustle. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Well, welcome viewers to the Wednesday, May 17th edition of 284 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. While leading today's news, the Virgin Islands Party government has established a new ministry that will add to the Premier's ministerial portfolios. Well, this was confirmed during a press conference on Tuesday, May 16th by Premier Dr. the Honourable Natalia Wheatley. Well, he said the decision to add the new ministry came following discussions with his team.
After careful consideration and internal consultations, my administration has made an adjustment to the initial ministerial portfolios announced after the general election. I'm pleased to report that we have established the Ministry of Climate Change and Environment as a ministry in its own right. That stands separately from the Premier's office. I will serve as minister over this portfolio.
The Premier said the new ministry shows his government's commitment to prioritizing environmental issues in the territory.
This demonstrates the importance we assign to the environment and all the critical issues involved in its preservation and sustainable use, as well as the existential threat of climate change. I'm looking forward to the ministry's establishment of a Department of Climate Change and Environment to respond to these needs.
Well, Deputy Premier and Minister for Labour, Honourable Lorna Smith, OBE, has promised residents that the long wait times for work permit approvals will become a thing of the past under her leadership. Well, Smith made a comment in response to a question posed by the media at a press conference on Tuesday, where she said that the use of technology will assist with resolving this long-existing labour issue. She revealed that she has already met with the Labour Commissioner to ensure that the wait time, which in some cases lasts up to 9 months, is reduced significantly.
It is all pervasive. I have met with the Labour Commissioner to discuss the matter and to make sure that the time is reduced significantly. One of the things that we have to look at really is using technology better to do so. And in fact, I'm in touch with a person recommended by the Premier that could assist us in doing so. But I can tell you that I am committed to making sure that this is no longer the case.
The minister also spoke on the staffing issues within the Department of Labour and Workforce Development, which she said also extends to the sister islands.
Another related problem is staffing itself. I gather, in fact, I just met with somebody who pointed out that even on Virgin Gorda, there is not a senior officer in place, and so at times Virgin Gorda business, and there's significant business, especially in tourism, they have to wait for an officer to come over from Tortola to solve this problem. I can assure you, Cindy, that this 9-month period is going to be whittled down under my administration. My administration in this, using the small a.
Meanwhile, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley issued his full support to Smith in ensuring that the labor woes become a thing of the past in the BVI.
The Deputy Premier has my full support in providing the resources necessary for staffing and for supporting the needs of the Labour Department, because I know they've been under-resourced and understaffed for some time. She has my full support.
Thank you for that, for saying that publicly also. It's a vexing issue, and it's across the spectrum of business in the BVI, and it definitely cannot go on.
The online travel blog Traveling Lifestyle has come under fire by members in the community after publishing an article riddled with what some Virgin Islanders have labeled blatant lies about the territory. With the article entitled Are British Virgin Islands Safe? Travel Advisory 2023, authored by Victor Vincent, was published earlier this week and has angered the local community for the absurd claims it made about Virgin Islanders. Of particular concern is a section of the article labeled Popular Scams in the British Virgin Islands, where the writer declared tourist scams are a drawback to traveling abroad. But if you're alert, tourist frauds are easy to avoid in the British Virgin Islands, end quote. Only then went on to list 3 alleged scams and accused Virgin Islanders termed locals in the article of committing crimes against oblivious visitors. Well, it said, and I quote, "A common scam is that locals from the BVI will ask you to take a picture, and when you return the camera, they will drop it and blame you," end quote. Well, he also accused locals of asking tourists to participate in street-side activities for, and I quote, "nefarious reasons," end quote, claiming that locals use the distractions to pick the pockets of tourists. Well, a major flaw in the information presented in the article was the claim that tourists need to ensure that their taxi driver, and I quote, "started the meter," end quote, at the beginning of a trip. This against the fact that taxis in the Virgin Islands do not use meters and operate at a flat, predetermined rate for popular destinations. One member of the community wrote to it for media and described the claims as outlandish, obliviously fabricated, and a misrepresentation of the BVI community. Well, it said, and I quote, "The false statements made in the article could be damaging to the territory's tourism product," the concerned citizen lamented. When contacted for comment on the matter, Director of BVI Tourist Board Clive McCoy informed that the Tourist Board is aware of the damaging information that is being shared and is actively taking steps to address it. Well, Deputy Premier Lorna Smith says she makes no apology for the decision she has made in the political arena, while Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley appears to be ready to move on from discussions on how the formation of this new government came to be. Well, Smith was initially pressed by this reporter surrounding whether she had maintained her agenda on which she was elected, or if she would be changing her plans to better match with the VIP government to which she has aligned.
I was not pushing a different agenda. I was pushing an agenda for greater efficiency. The questions that your colleagues raised in terms of the 9 months or more that it takes to get work permits through, the same thing with trade licenses and so on. One of the things I said that I would work towards is cutting red tape. Oh, yeah. And that is what I plan to do. So it's the same agenda.
The scene played out at a recent press conference. Premier Wheatley, who was also featured at a press conference, did not appear to be pleased with that line of questioning, which she said was targeted at the Deputy Premier now weeks after the new government was sworn in.
As I said, I was pushing an agenda for...
No, you said it's the same agenda. So I'm asking if it is the same agenda what you are pushing some weeks ago.
It's an agenda. Yes,
it's the same agenda that you're meeting today of a different poll.
No, I am meeting an agenda that I'm meeting a situation where there is need for improvement. And that is what I was saying. And everybody recognizes that there is need for improvement in the services that we deliver.
So will it be correct to say, Mrs. Smith, you have no regrets from the decision you made?
None. None.
No apologies to anyone.
No apology.
Yeah, let me say, Zan, there's no need for...
I know, I'm not going there. I'm not going. Let me move away from that.
Yes.
Well, up next, BVI set to host first meeting with UK and overseas territories on illicit finance. Premier intends to keep promise on greedy bill, and Defreitas sets new national record in the women's 200 meter. Well, these and more stories after a word from our sponsors.
Looks like Johnny's ex-girlfriend finally found my car.
You've got CG. You're fine. I'll never forget the year those monkeys stole my car. They drove it over a cliff, burned the seats, and carved the words pineapple banana smoothie into all the doors. And that was after they used it for the bank heist. I don't blame them. It's their favorite smoothie, and I refuse to share the recipe.
No deductible for theft, malicious damage, and more. CG Insurance. Good like that.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually
you're feeling it.
Alonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites.
It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.
There goes my new car. Guess I'm back on my bike.
Your bike? CG offers new car replacement. Remember my monster truck days? Well, one night I attempted a 50-foot pogo double backflip. I landed it and went to karaoke. It wasn't until afterward that my car got hit by that fisherman. He gave me some great mahi-mahi though. Anyway, they paid fast and got me in a new car. Now call a cab. I want you to meet my alpaca guy.
New car replacement for the first year of ownership. CG Insurance. Good like that.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, the British Virgin Islands is set to host the first annual meeting on illicit finance, which will include representatives from both the United Kingdom and overseas territories. Well, this was confirmed by the Deputy Premier and Minister for Financial Services, Honourable Lorna Smith OBE, during a press conference on Tuesday. She revealed that the agreement to host the meeting stems from discussions that occurred during the recently concluded Joint Ministerial Council meetings in London.
One of the key subjects discussed related to the subject of illicit finance and how the United Kingdom and the overseas territories can work together to tackle the subject. This has led to the launching of a new ministerial-level annual dialogue that will address the issue of illicit finance. While the details of how this dialogue will be carried forward is being worked on, I'm very pleased to announce that the Honourable Premier's offer for the Virgin Islands to host the first meeting on the subject has been accepted by his colleague, overseas territories leaders, and the United Kingdom.
Well, Honourable Smith also said the BVI understands the key role it plays globally in the financial service industry.
As the Minister responsible for financial services, I have tremendous interest in ensuring and leading as necessary the charge against any activity that may become a reputational dent on the financial services and the products the Virgin Islands has to offer. We may be small in size, but we recognize our giant role as a jurisdiction in the conduct and facilitation of global financial services. The Virgin Islands once again declares that it remains open to only legitimate business, premised on respect for our laws and the laws of other countries, and will continue to cooperate with external law enforcement and the civil authorities of other countries.
But the minister said during her tenure, she intends to deepen the BVI's cooperation with international partners to further deter criminals from conducting business in the BVI.
Given our pivotal position in the global economy, as an international finance center, and a firm commitment as a jurisdiction to upholding international standards of regulation, the Virgin Islands is a key partner in the global fight against illicit finance. We will therefore deepen our cooperation with international partners to make it even harder for criminals to carry out their illicit activities wherever they attempt to do so.
Well, moving on to our next story, where Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley says he intends to do good on his promise to Virgin Islanders to further amend the Retiring Allowances Act, commonly termed the Greedy Bill, as early as the first debates of the House of Assembly.
It is my goal to, by the time we have our second sit-in, the sit-in after where we're sworn in, and that we're able to bring amendments to the retirement legislative allowances. I get it confused with it. Retirement Allowances Act that will repeal the offending sections of that bill.
Along the campaign trail, Wheatley heavily criticized the bill, promising to address it as a matter of priority and forfeit any benefit he would have been entitled to based on the eligibility requirements for the areas of the bill with which he disagreed. But now, on the heels of a victory at the April general election, Wheatley says he maintains his position on matters surrounding the bill.
The years of full salary based on your tenure of service, that we should eliminate those. And persons should be able to get an allowance based on they should be able to get a pension based on a decent salary, which of course I believe a third party should be able to determine. So that remains my view, and of course I will certainly bring it to Cabinet, and also we'll bring it to the House of Assembly, and I'm sure that the other members of the House of Assembly will also have their say.
A local sprinter Beyonce DeFrater set a new national record in the women's 200-meter event at the American Athletic Conference Outdoor Track and Field Championships, which was held in Tampa, Florida over the weekend. Running out of lane 7 for the University of Central Florida, DeFreitas missed out on a podium finish with a 4th place finish, but her time of 22.81 seconds was quick enough to break the previous national record, which was set by Tahija Harrigan Scott in 2007. But the race was won by her teammate Latasha Smith, who clocked a time of 22.09 seconds. But DeFreitas also assisted her team to a gold medal in the 4x100-meter relay, running the 3rd leg, and she also placed 4th in the women's 100-meter run, with the 11.24 seconds, just 1/100th of a second off her personal best time. Well, up next, Nigerian-based company buys 70% stake in LIAT 2020. Native Amerindians protests marginalizations and global warming to peak over 1.5 degrees Celsius. With these stories, when 284 News return.
When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes,
Good
son.
morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Over there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man, forget care.
How may I assist you?
Listen.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back, one and all. Well, Africa's largest private carrier, Air Peace, has become the majority shareholder in regional airline company LIAT 2020 after purchasing 70% of its shares. But this was confirmed by Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown, who said that LIAT will operate on a viable commercial basis following the agreement with the Nigerian-based company. With more on this report is ABS News' Garfield Burford.
The government of Antigua and Barbuda saved the carrier from the brink of liquidation by placing it under administration. Since then, a court-appointed administrator, Cleveland Seaforth, has been piloting the operation. The focus now is on LIAT 2020 and ensuring it can meet the region's transportation needs. That's where a prospective partnership with Nigeria's Air Peace comes in.
So what we're moving now is to establish the AOC. Right. The operating certificate for LIAT 2020, and to have this partnership with Air Peace, in which Air Peace will emerge as a 70% shareholder in the new LIAT.
The carrier is now operating with 2 aircraft and with a smaller footprint of routes, but that is set to change once the new arrangement is concretized.
They will bring some assets, and we will also acquire some assets as well, and hopefully we could have maybe 5, 6 aircraft operating within the region under the name LIAT. We think that LIAT is a strong brand. It's a regional brand which we believe should be maintained. And I'm hoping that we can make this a reality so that we can protect the existing jobs and even to create new jobs to those employees who are displaced, especially the pilots.
The Prime Minister said the primary intention was to have had a LIAT owned by the regional governments, given how crucial regional transportation is. However, with that not having materialized, the Prime Minister says this is now the best route.
I know that there are many who would want to second guess that decision, but again, I don't know if there's any other viable option at this point. I mean, I would accept that regional governments would have indicated a willingness to invest in a regional airline, but in terms of having firm commitments, we're not at that stage, and we need to move. I mean, regional travel is a major issue.
The head of government explained how LIAT's approach is likely to change under a private majority shareholder.
This airline will be run or operated strictly on a commercial basis. So it would not be a regional bus that will be operating on unprofitable routes. And if indeed it has to operate on profitable routes, then there has to be some MRG, some
minimum revenue guarantees.
So, we're looking forward to, the eventual operationalization of this new LIAT 2020, and we're committed to do all we can to ensure its viability and sustainability.
Well, Native Amerindians held a protest in Suriname this past Saturday to express their discontent and bring attention to poor treatment they allege to suffer at the hands of the local government and other parts of the society. But the protesters claim to be facing marginalization, deprivation, and a lack of respect and recognition of their due rights. A media outlet, Canada News, reports that tensions have been high after a few weeks ago, 2 Indigenous men were killed by police. Or this after a group of men set fire to lodging trucks and a police station in Pecan, Saron, southwest of the capital. The protest, which has been described in various forums as a silent demonstration, brought hundreds of the indigenous people to the street. Reports from regional press says that representatives of various tribes who still reside in the hinterlands were present at the activity. Saturday's protest is said to be one of the series of actions which the indigenous people intend to pursue over the next few weeks. A spokeswoman for the Native Power Group, Suriname Artist, told reporters that her team plans to write to various organizations, including the Organization of American States, about the poor treatment of the indigenous people in Suriname. Moving on to our final story, where it is predicted that the world will soon experience another record-breaking year of heat, with a new report stating that it is highly likely that a single year will break the 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming limit by 2028. The global annual to decadal climate update from the World Meteorological Organization has warned that failure to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to net zero, the world's heat issues, will get increasingly worse over the next decade. In 2015, the global community signed on to the Paris Climate Agreement, in which 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit was established as the limit of rising temperatures. In 2018, a meeting of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change resulted in a special report from the United Nations, in which scientists warned that allowing temperatures to rise beyond this point could result in irreversible damage to global ecosystems, particularly Arctic animals, coral and marine life, destruction, water shortages, famine, and death. But what is driving temperatures at this time is an upcoming El Nino event expected to exacerbate already alarming global trends. As a result, the WMO says that there is a 98% chance that the years to come will be the hottest on record, and a 66% chance that at least one of those years will break the 1.5 degree threshold. A much less likely, but still considerably concerning, is the prediction of a 32% change or chance that average global temperatures could exceed the threshold over the next 5 years. But the present situation is said to be a result of decades of inadequate action and inaction by countries and industries to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Viewers, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com. Like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye-bye.
Angie, how can I get my claims paid quick? Rent's due next week.
CG processes 99% of claims within 5 days. Remember when I was hang gliding with those goats? I caught a gust of wind and flew right into a moving car. Every appendage was in the cast, and they paid fast and fairly. That's what I get for trusting a man with a mustache and an eye patch. Now I gotta go. I'm meeting the guy who bedazzled my toes.
99% of claims are processed within 5 days. CG Insurance. Good like that.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.